There's no damage to that either. Slightest exception is this levy intake.
Yes, I just want to echo Chairman Boxer, your comments. We'll certainly both work with Senator Fisher to ensure that that critical flood protection in her state receives the necessary cost increase fix to complete the already authorized project. And I certainly understand Senator Fisher's frustration, and we'll work on that corrective language and push the Corps to complete the project's limited reevaluation report. And my only other comment is to just ask three unanimous consents. One, to submit Senator Crapo's opening statement for the record. Two, to submit a colloquy regarding Senator Bozeman's priority for the record. And three, to note the support of the Big River Coalition for this bill and to submit the whole list of their membership for the record. It's basically every significant pilot and port and industry group along the lower Mississippi. They support the bill, and I submit their membership list for the record. And, excuse me, I said three, it's going to be four. And four, ask unanimous consent to also submit Senator Bozeman's opening statement for the record.
Without objection, of course. I wanted to point out something that I failed to in my opening statement that I think is very important. We have Title III of our bill is project modifications. Modifies existing water resource project authorization if there's no increase to the authorized cost. We include 7 project modifications. The reason this is so critical is it's a sad day when you have a project and there's new information found and you need to modify it, but under the rules, you can't move it, even if it costs less. The modifications cost less, so we fixed that problem. I would just close and say, again, how proud I am of this work that we have done. Look, it's always a long road from here to the White House signature. We know that. We know there are ups and downs. But I do feel with the goodwill that you saw here today, and we're so happy with it on both sides of the aisle, that we can move forward. We do represent very different members here and with different philosophies, but we have come together on this. It was interesting, I was talking to Senator Vitter that the American Conservative Union has just put out a very interesting thesis on why investing in infrastructure is so important. And so I think that kind of underscores where the conservatives and liberals have been on this issue of infrastructure, where we have been ahead of the curve, getting together on the highway bill and now on this bill. And I do believe we have some wind at our back because we have such a broad coalition of people behind us on this. And there will be bumps in the road because there always are, but we're going to figure it all out. So I would say, Senator Vitter and Senator Fisher's here, the next step is CDO needs to be actually score, which we believe is going to be very beneficial to our staff because we come in as the last word. But we do need to make sure CDO does its work. So, Senator Vitter, I hope you and I and our team can work together to push that because Senator Reid said he wants this on the team.
Broadback, next step. Man, is Senator Boxer informed also? Senator Collins, all right. Hi. Committee on Foreign Relations. Man, we do so much work. Come here, Mecca. Oh, hi. Mecca. Hi. I saw you had your door open, so I wanted to ask if you'd like to employ veterans to extend the Smithsonian. Come here, Mecca. I saw you had your door open, so I wanted to ask if you'd like to employ veterans to extend the Smithsonian Mall to California.
Careful.
Yep. I saw you had your door open, so I wanted to ask if you'd like to employ veterans to extend the Smithsonian Mall to California. If that works out well, then we can have a humanitarian corridor around the world along the Tropic of Cancer.
Oh, that sounds like a neat idea. I actually don't make any hiring decisions at all. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if you could let your committee know, I'd appreciate it.
Certainly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Have a good day.
That's unto you. That's good. Okay, come on, Mecca. Worker, Tennessee. Hi. Health, education, labor, and pensions. Looks like they're not meeting here. They're ready. That's good. Okay, good. Here we are, the stairs, Mecca. Hello. Good. Come on, Mecca. who, looking through their wallet at money, not totally sure why, maybe trying to know what their budget was for lunch. Perfect, find the door, Mecca. Good, Mecca. Signatures and Long came up. Hi. Good. Cleanliness is half of faith, because you can do almost anything if you don't get sloppy, and that's scary. So what's the other half of faith? Our good intentions that we learn from our prayers, right? Good. Allah Akbar. Wringing out the mop and going around the world. Hi. Hi. Everyone deserves a lawyer and a fair trial, he's saying. Hi. Looks like you have a waiting list here, huh?
Yeah, we do. It's in-demand hearing.
How's it going? Are people getting in, or is anyone coming out, or?
Right now, no one's come out. It's completely full, though.
Yeah, I was just up at the Public Works Subcommittee meeting, and they mentioned Signature and Long, and so I made sure I came back to this direction.
Okay.
I guess we'll get in line, thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. There's also an overflow on 216, Part 216.
Oh, 216 Hart, you can see it. Okay, well, thanks.
You're welcome.
216 Hart.
No, Harold, you was not on.
Hi. Hello, how you doing? Hi. Kansas, yeah. Hi. Hi. Hi there. Oh, long time no see. How have you been?
Fine, how you doing?
All right, you renamed Bigwig Liberty. I remember you.
Hi, sweetheart. Which hearing is this you're waiting for?
Privacy and Judiciary.
What time does it start?
10.
Oh, 10. It's already started.
Yeah, then they have one in the afternoon about another topic that's interesting.
Yeah, that's the one I've got due for. Oh, no. What's this baby's name?
This is Mecca.
Mecca with sweetheart. Are you scared of money?
No, but that's part of Mecca's idea of playing, is to be a little shy.
She's an Afghan, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hi, beauty.
And smart, too.
Good girl. Yes, you are.
And how have you been? Good.
What are you up to these days?
Hiring veterans to extend the Smithsonian Mall from D.C. to California.
I don't understand that.
Okay, well, there are a lot of veterans looking for work.
Yeah, oh, I gotta call my boss and tell him I'm here. And then I can talk to you. Yes, you're a pretty girl. Yes, you are. It's kind of neat they have dogs in here.
Yeah?
This place is...
I've got a letter from my doctor for this one, so we can go anywhere.
Okay.
Hi. That's good, Mecca. Whoop.
Hi, Gary. Chris is not there? Okay, thanks.
There's an overflow room in Heart 216. I might go over there to hear what they're saying.
Yeah, well, yeah, give more room for her.
Hi. Hey, Mecca, you're getting your picture taken. Hi. Yeah, long legs. So runs like the wind. That's good, Mecca. Thanks.
Darn it, I'm calling you again. I have to call you.
Do you know if mental health professionals have to take drug tests? Do you think the NRA and the AMA would like to work together to make sure that happens? Here come some people out. There's long legs there. Wow. Mecca. Here's a person who has legs as long as yours. Look at her. Long-legged. Yeah. What else? You have the right to hide and the right to find. We do not strengthen one right by weakening the other right.
Is this about internet privacy in here?
Drones privacy.
Oh, God, yeah,
But that's sort of like the internet too, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it's drones are insane. I mean, I'm more worried about those than I am about the ones that fly to other countries. But those kill people, so that's bad too.
Yeah, well, you look at everything they did to people in Afghanistan, and you can expect that's on the way here.
No, no kidding. Yes, I agree.
So we need like town hall screen names. Remember?
We're gonna have to start putting black paper in our windows to keep them from staring into them. I mean, it sounds kind of.
Well, you can see through the walls now.
Oh, can you?
What we have to do is make it legal inside your house. Whatever you do is legal as long as it doesn't harm a non-consenting adult or minor.
Right. Well, you know, isn't there a way to keep that? Isn't that a way to insulate them from looking through the walls?
No, but you don't make your right weaker to make the other right stronger. You make both rights stronger. You say, yeah, it's great. Hallelujah. You can see through walls. You can see through people as long as you don't harm them with radiation. But then it's legal. Anything you do on your side of the wall is, you don't have to be embarrassed.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm looking at.
That's what Judge Scalia said. The lady of the house taking her bath can now be seen through the wall. And is that permitted for the law enforcement people to do that?
Well, does he think so?
They didn't come down on it. They had a case about bringing a dog to your door on Halloween. That was their idea of coolness.
Bringing a dog?
Yeah, I had a dog. I'm up in Maine, and so I read in the internet that the Supreme Court has a case scheduled for Halloween about bringing a dog to your door to sniff for drugs. I said, because it's trick or treat. You know, the people inside are scared that the law enforcement are going to bring the dog and sniff for marijuana and then break in their door and arrest them. And so they thought it was cool to schedule it for Halloween, trick or treat. I said you should have scheduled it for Pearl Harbor Day. You want to get both rights to be stronger. What you do in about a year. According to the United States Secret Service, you have the right to external memory of any conversation or occurrence to which you are a party or at which there is a reasonable expectation it might be overheard, like outside of the Russian embassy. This is my letter to the committee I delivered yesterday. A two-party consent law, such as in Massachusetts, applied to walking along the public right-of-way violates the First Amendment right to remember your own life, to give proof through your free speech.
Are these people all for this?
Yeah, they're all waiting to get in. There's an overflow room in Hart, the guy said at 216.
They'd all go over there so I could start my line. Start a line for 2 o'clock hearings here.
No, what year are you going to?
I'm not even sure exactly. My job is to hold a spot for a person who's going to be at this hearing. So Hey, it's like Shakespeare in the Park.
Hi, Mick.
Oh, yeah.
Here's some progress here.
I am.
Hi.
Well, the problem with can't live on. As often as these guys do.
Hey, let's employ some vets and extend the Smithsonian Mall to California.
There's plenty of that, and it kind of dovetails here because a lot of these people work for Congress that I live around because I live right here on the hill. And when they go on vacation, they need somebody to take care of their dog, but you don't need to wait line. Right. So it kind of adds up. Like I'm already booked. I already have somebody for the Easter break. I have a couple of dogs I'm going to walk. So, and they're lobbyists, and you know the man is a lobbyist anyway. So Congress is going to be out, so they're going to go out, and I'm going to walk their dogs for money. Nice.
Pretty good deal.
It works out great. In fact, I have a customer that pays me $75 a day because their dog is like this big and very unruly.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a big furry dog, big heavy furry dog, not like this one. And he's only unruly when he sees another dog. I have to be on my guard when I walk. So they go on a 2-3 week cruise. Max, $75 a day. We're talking $500 a week.
That's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
It doesn't happen all the time, but it's nice when it does. Those people have been going for 1 or 2 times a year, so it's nice money. And you can do it during August and there's no work here.
Yeah.
Or April, you know, they're off for all of course this time they're not taking all of April off, they're taking 1 week of March off and 1 week of April for Easter, so. They're doing it too, yeah.
Or should you have a U.S. Treasury Citizen Trust account so you don't have to be a gopher for someone who got a bunch of stuff that you don't know whether they deserve it or not?
Yeah, well, I mean, as long as I'm not touching anything illegal, I'll do an errand for anybody.
Well, you shouldn't have to. You should be independent. You should be endowed.
No, but I mean, as long as they pay me, I'll get that money. I love coming to errands.
Yeah.
I do. I hate sitting in an office. I hate staying in an
Well, for extra credit, that's your right to do whatever you want to do, but you should have a basic endowment for the U.S. Citizen Treasury Trust account. About $1 million in trust with covenants and time release and basic income.
We should be born with a parking space.
Yeah.
I don't drive.
But the more kids you have, the more you have to divide your money up among them.
Well, I don't have any of those. I just got to worry about this kid right here.
Hi.
Beauty.
Aren't you sweet?
What's his name?
This is Mecca.
Mecca. Nice.
Yeah, they underassess the value of the assets and keep a control of them instead of assessing them at their true 2 billion year value and then distributing the net present value of the future free cash flows among we the people adequately. It's like saying this door is worth $10. Yeah. No, if you look into the future, not only that door, but the next door that's going to be there, and the door after that, and the door after that. Man, that door is worth about $10 million, you know, more than that. So you reassess everything, bring up the values, and then you can discount it to a net present value, and then instead of having to borrow money from Ben Shalom Bernanke, you can say, okay, we can mint money against the assets that we have. We have these doors that are worth this. Let's print the money against it, put it in a bank, and lock it up like J.P. Morgan is the trustor for these payday loan things, which is basically what we're talking about.
You bring your dog here a lot?
My dog has been with me for about 3 months, 4, 5, 6 months constantly. It's a service animal, so
Oh, so you can bring her anywhere?
wherever I go, yeah, I got leash burns on my hands.
Yeah. She seems very calm, like she wouldn't be
What kind of dog was Liberty? He had another dog.
Yeah, a husky terrier mix.
Oh, yeah, and she was very good. His name was it a female or a male?
Well, we don't worry about male or female till we get to puppies.
His name was Liberty.
Well, Bigwig, but you renamed Bigwig Liberty because you thought that was
I
a
named
big.
him Liberty.
Yeah, you did. You said Liberty is a good name. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it just seemed to fit him.
Because Bigwig is like the opposite side of what we're just talking about, right? You want liberty rather than bigwigs.
Yeah.
Becca, that's an interesting name for a dog. very pretty name. Now if she's brown, you can call her Mocha.
Hey, let's employ some veterans and extend the Smithsonian Mall to California.
No, you didn't. You barely touched me.
Hey, Mecca, that's being good.
Subject. I mean, this is privacy. I didn't realize. I stumbled into this one. I was on the other side.
But there are a lot of teenagers here today. Like, is
Well,
that
now
more than usual?
sometimes school groups come here. Part of their school assignment might be to come to the hearing.
There were lines halfway around the block this morning.
Well, that's because no, the doors are not. This is sequestered.
Sequester?
Yeah, they're budget cuts.
It's the budget. Just the budget.
No, the doors outside. This is that's right. This situation here is I don't know. I mean, police are here because this is a big crowd and this is a hot issue, and they're afraid somebody will just go off. This could happen. I mean, we have something called code pink that goes in hearings and signs. Yeah, like especially if it's on a drone hearing like this, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them aren't in there now. And they might even disrupt. They don't do anything violent. They might chant or.
This one lady waited the whole time General Petraeus was testifying before the Armed Services Committee, and finally he starts talking about, well, there's $1 trillion of resources in Afghanistan that could be recovered or something, and to justify remaining there, right, to give an economic issue after he berated a lady senator about your district gets a lot of work from us. She's a poor little old lady, like a code pink person. She gets a war criminal. And they had to take her out physically from the meeting. But it was so true.
That's what it's all about, huh?
Yeah.
I've been trying to call you a couple of times.
Do you know of any town halls that have screen names for the voters or citizens? Wouldn't that make sense that you get an official like AOL, but for your town hall screen name, and you could sign petitions and do business? And if the court call up the town hall, and say, hey, we got screen name Joe Blow 2753. Is this really a person? And they say, yeah, it is. And they say, well, okay. Then if the guy has done something wrong, you get a court order, you find out their legal name. If he's not done anything wrong, they simply say, yeah, we checked Joe Blow, it's in our records, they know that it was him, and we sent it to them, and now it's in his record there too. But you protect your family name. You say you want to sign a petition, hey, let's, get more privacy in our homes. Okay, I'll sign that. But then you got to put your name and your address and everything. So instead you use your town hall screen name, and you can change it just like AOL. Why don't we have that yet?
Certainly an idea.
I will confirm it.
Yeah. The NRA might like that, so when you get your gun clearance, it's under a screen name.
They would probably. Some would like that. For sure.
Same way when you qualify, yeah. Good. There's a lot of privacy issues. I wrote him a letter yesterday about all this stuff. Like the right to eyeglasses for your brain. I've got like criminal trespass warnings up in Maine. I relocated up to Maine. The two hardest places to remember anything, the drugstore and the bank. They closed my bank account and sent my money back to me. They wouldn't let me have a bank account. I haven't read their letter yet, but it's probably because I have too good a memory. They're supposed to have better security. They don't make my right weaker. They make both rights stronger, Same way you should be able to wear a web camera mask. People walking around live streaming Google Street View Live. It's a generation away. You want to have the right to wear your webcam mask. I mentioned that to the undercover police officers out here by the U.S. Senate lawn, by that wall where they hang out. And within the afternoon or the next day, some guy walks by, they'll 6, 8 people, they all look like they had these SPX masks on that I recommended to them.
Well, they must have thought it was a good idea then, huh?
Yeah, because I talked with this police officer about child pornography on the internet, and he said, please don't put my picture on the internet because I'm undercover police and it's sensitive work.
Fair, yeah.
And I said, well, I understand that, and I'll do it this time, but you should have a mask so that I can keep it on and you can have a different mask the next time I see you. And that way you won't have to worry about, does he have a hidden button camera here? Does she have a camera in her scarf? You know, wear a different mask, you know?
I'd like to be Marie Antoinette today and Condoleezza Rice tomorrow.
Well, if you're a public figure, I don't know if you can control your image in terms of a mask.
No, but I can put a mask of her on. Nobody...
If you're a private figure, you might have the right to say, hey, you can't go around looking like me.
Y'all, do you want to hang out for this one, or you want to go to the house?
Did you just ask him something? Like, ask him timing?
Oh, no. I just asked to make sure there was a 2 o'clock hearing so that I'm not waiting here paying. You guys know ahead of me. Should we ask him?
Why
don't you guys go to the overflow room?
I don't want to.
We don't really want to watch on TV.
It's a nice room in there. It's big and there's a lot of space and you can drink coffee. I'm not kidding. Those coffee? They don't have it there. You can get some and bring it. You know, they're not, if you try to do it in here, they're going to tell you no. They're not allowed to bring it.
All kinds of ways to sneak it in.
I know, but if they see you with it.
Let me go ask the guy. Okay, questions? Yeah, it doesn't look like he has many answers.
It's kind of hard. Yeah, he really doesn't.
What else came up?
So once you get to the front of the line, what do? You just wait and let other people go ahead?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm not really in a line. I just happen to be in a line because there is. If there wasn't a line, I wouldn't be in it. Does that make any sense?
Gotcha, yes. Yes.
If you guys weren't waiting here to get in there for 10, I would.
So when you come in and wait, like, is it always like you think you're waiting for such a good one like this?
No, there's not always a crowd. I mean, usually if there's a 10 o'clock hearing and I'm waiting for a 2 o'clock, that 10 o'clock's already in there by now. You just have to have a crowded line here today. This is not always. This does happen, but it's not. Especially this big. This is a pretty big line. I mean, since I've gotten here, I mean, I can't even be in the line.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think about why someone would really want to be in a section.
There's people coming out. It's been an hour and 18 minutes.
It's called FaceTime. The people, the members and senators of the dais see the lobbyists. See, they know these people who have been in their offices talking to their staff members, and they know these people.
Did you have a good hearing?
And it does.
Did you have a good hearing?
As opposed to anybody can watch
Did you have a good hearing? Did the issues get addressed that you were interested in?
outside of the line. They don't see you, and they.
Looks like we're going to get in, Mecca. Come on.
And they can't. They don't want to stand here for hours and wait until they can hear.
Well,
Well, he's got a skinny orange baby.
They bring the guy's uncle from Sicily, and he's just sitting in the court, and then what's his name changes his testimony. That's not big.
We may or may not have orders for next week's Supreme Court hearing on same-sex marriage.
Yeah.
what if a child's born with no gender? Do they have the right to get married because of the birth defect?
Such thing as no gender. It's either both genders or one.
Well, if you have no genitals or uterus or anything, you get born by accident and you have to have a tube for your urine to come out of you and stuff.
That would be a very sad existence.
It'd be tougher if you couldn't get married, yeah.
I don't know.
You should still have the right to marry with no gender, so what's this business of gender discrimination about the right to marry?
Yeah, I agree. Everybody should have the right to be miserable. I've been through that. I've been to that movie. I'm panning it. I've been in the movie and I'm a critic.
Everyone has the right to their own womb?
Yeah. Well, some of us have wombs and some of us don't.
We'd started off with mitosis, and mitosis is one gender operation that sustains most of our body. Then this modern experiment of meiosis, gender, wow, it's a half as old as mitosis is. Now we have laboratory assisted, and God willing, will travel as like coherent light beams that can reconstitute itself back into matter.
No, I really.
But anyway, yeah, so there's that. So I've got to.
A lot of people came out. How come we're not going in?
Larry, between almost on the other side says,
Should I ask?
all these small government.
Oh, say, I saw a lot of people come out. How come we're not going in? Okay, thanks, sir.
You know what a yenta is? A yenta is Yiddish for a matchmaker, a busybody, or sometimes they call them busybodies, sometimes they call them. But a yenta was actually a functioning person in the community who matchmade, who married off girls because, they matchmade people. And a lot of times they were young, they usually they wouldn't necessarily put young girls with old men. Usually at babies, they just matchmake them with babies and say this is, one family would have a boy and the other family would have a girl, and they'd say these two are going to marry. So all their lives they know.
Mecca, you're doing a good job.
Make things easier in a lot of ways, huh?
Well, in some ways.
I guess it depends. That's when you get messed to.
You get to be anywhere from 16 to 18 and they're married.
How old was Mary when she had Jesus?
15, 14.
Yep, 14-year-old virgin hairdresser from Nazareth.
Hairdresser.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my
I think you were hairdresser.
had me married my middle school best friend.
But anyway, that's what he did.
I would have been busy. I would have been
So
fine.
what I'm saying is they make lousy
They do a lot of things very lousy, don't they?
There's more people coming up. Heavy-duty camera.
Anyone that's hearing Ed.
Yeah, we were curious about that too. Maybe noonish?
No, it could. I don't know how many panels there are.
Well, if it's close enough that you'll lose by a referee's decision, you didn't deserve to win.
Huh?
This is a referee's decision here. Drones are nothing compared to interspecies partnerships.
Yes.
We want to come in.
Yeah.
We'd like to come in.
Not necessarily. You'd be surprised, actually.
It looks like it might be
There's gonna
over.
something.
Drones have a use. I think if there's an emergency problem, if somebody's in the middle of the woods somewhere, or if there's a fire, or an emergency situation, or if there's some standoff.
Wild cell translate.
They just be able to roam at will and look at everything.
I agree. And I think things have to hold other components to it.
That's another thing. We're going to kill a lot of innocent people.
I agree.
You could be standing in line waiting for a movie, and all of a sudden it's wrong.
Yeah.
Because there's one person they can't terrorist.
Exactly.
That's what I don't know.
And then we don't know what is a terrorist.
One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter, right?
Ladies and gentlemen,
We shouldn't use that word, terror. Come on, Mecca. Good. That's good, Mecca. Everyone except us, huh? Here's another one coming out. We'd like to come in.
I'm media.
Well, you're media, okay. Thanks for explaining that.
So, sir, we don't allow dogs in the hearing room.
Well, this letter says you have to. Under the American with Disabilities Act, service animals have the right to accompany
And
their owner.
do you have credentials that
I
say
do,
that he's a
yeah,
service
I
animal?
do, yeah. Constitution and the letter from my doctor. And the script should be, why do you think you have the right to come in here with this animal? Instead of saying no and alienating people and making them
I haven't
angry.
said no yet, sir. I asked
Yeah, you started off saying no.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that everything's in play. I'm not.
Yeah, that's
I'm not,
very different from saying you can't bring that dog in here, which is what the first words out of your mouth were.
Cooperate. Just let her.
I am. I'm trying to
Keep your
educate
voice
this
down.
person.
Keep your voice down.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
This man through, please.
Come here, Mecca. I'm trying to educate this person
That's
so she
fine.
doesn't
Now,
alienate people like in
let's keep our
Connecticut,
voice-
so he comes back to
let's keep
school
our
with a
voice
gun.
down. Let's keep our voice down.
It's relatively down. You want to hear a loud voice? I can really let you hear a loud voice.
Do that and then certain things will-
I'm slightly hearing impaired, so I have the right to talk loud enough to hear myself.
So what we're doing right now, we're just checking to make sure that everything's in order.
Well, that's a different than saying you can't come in here with that dog, which were the first words out of her mouth.
If it was a normal dog, we wouldn't be allowed in. We didn't know it was a service animal.
Well, then you can ask.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Scripts are important. That's why justice is important. What we say is very important. How we think. And peace upon you, who? How are you? May interspecies cooperation help you in your life. May wild cell translate bring conversations between we the people and all the animals, inshallah. And may our privacy be protected when the bird at your feeder has a camera and a microphone on it. Wild cell translate. You're welcome. There's a lot of empty seats here. It doesn't look good.
How's it going?
Slightly frustrating. Thank God we're able to be here. It could be a lot worse.
Sir, can we check? We have seats, but we just can't let you bring a bag that large inside. Do you have a member's office you could drop it off at?
Maybe, but I would like to stay with my bag. I was able to get in the building with my bag. Do you permit wheelchairs in here?
We don't allow, we are on our website, we have a rule that we don't allow large bags.
Do you permit wheelchairs in here?
Yes.
Okay, I have the same right as a wheelchair. I have a letter from my doctor.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Yeah,
don't allow large bags.
they're wrong. This document
Your
here,
dog is fine.
Here's the deal, Bill.
yeah, here's the Constitution
Bill, that's
of the United States of America.
But here's the
Bill, do you
deal.
mind
Yeah.
just stepping away? And
Come
we'll,
over here, we'll
we're not
explain
going to
it.
give away your seat. We'll save a seat for you, I promise. I just
You're,
wanna let
the
these people
meeting's
inside.
going to be over.
No, he just can't bring a bag that big.
No, they let wheelchairs in there. I should have the right in with my bag. I need the water.
Just a second.
Yeah.
You don't, we're happy to get you in. Just 1 second. I just want to get them and we'll leave chat and make sure we have your stuff in the right spot.
Which is on my back by my chair where the wheelchairs are permitted
so I
to
just
sit.
want people to fill in the row on the other side so that there's a spot for their dog on this side. Is that okay?
Yeah, as long as I can go in.
Yeah. I said I
With
will
my
say-
bag.
I'm not going to give away your seat.
With an aisle seat.
Yeah. So that's why I just want to make
Okay,
sure
it looks like we made some headway. I don't know. It's kind of like apartheid.
See what happens is
Yeah.
they have, on their website, they have rules to
Yeah,
their.
and they said you
their
could
committee
drink
hearing.
at the same color drinking fountain, coloreds
Yeah.
only,
Well,
no
here's the deal.
bags. They make all these
But
arbitrary
here's the deal.
rules. They're wrong.
Listen, that's not for me to argue, you know
Right.
that.
You
right?
have to obey the law, whether it's right or wrong.
Now, if they're gonna enforce that policy, they have to enforce that policy across the board, correct? With everybody that's.
I don't know. I got a letter from my doctor. They might tell somebody it's healthy, go to your member and leave it. But if I got a letter from my doctor,
Calm down,
yeah.
we'll talk. So if they say, hey, look, if there's an area of, I got it.
Thanks.
If there's an area or place that you can store your belongings,
Yeah,
and you can do that, then I would do that, and then there's no issue with you coming in. But
Right.
we can't allow anybody in line that has a bag that large inside the committee. It's not just you.
they let wheelchairs in. I should have the same right as a wheelchair to
That's
go in
not
with
a
my bag.
wheelchair.
It's my version of a wheelchair. This is not a drug. This is my alternative to taking a drug.
It's not the drug.
Yeah, and so's the bag. Louis Brandeis has a quote at the Supreme Court, "The greatest danger to liberty lurks in insidious encroachments by men of zeal, like you, well-meaning, without
Right.
understanding."
Okay.
You take a little bit here, you take a little bit there. The bag's too big. And that's not right. The door is big enough for me to come in. They let wheelchairs in. I have the right to a bag. It went through the metal
But
detector.
here's the thing.
Yeah.
That's in the building, that's correct.
Right.
But when there's rules that are set inside the committee.
Yeah.
Right.
They can be as racist as they want, but
they
they're
can set-
wrong.
They can set whatever rules they
They
want.
can't. They have to obey this.
Okay, They can set what rules
Yeah.
go on inside the committee,
Right,
correct?
and then I have to go to court and get a court order
And that's what you
to
have
prove
to
that
do.
they're wrong.
Then that's what you
But
have to
General, Officer Weatherby said to me, when they start giving orders for genocide, I will stop obeying.
do. Absolutely.
So you got to talk to your God and decide at what point you're going to stop obeying these unconstitutional,
I got you.
immoral orders.
But for right now,
Yeah.
the best thing to do is to store your bag where you can store your bag in your member's office.
I don't
And
know
then
if that's
come on
fair
back.
to them. I don't
No,
know.
no, that's what you would
Why don't we
to
have the USPS postal system, outdoor mobile locker system, so anyone can store their
That's
guitar
an
and come in?
idea.
Yeah, it is. And I've suggested it 100 times.
Right,
And no one's done anything about it, and we got $1 billion debt at the post office instead.
Right, but you know what you can do too, is you can go to Union Station and they have lockers, correct?
They took them all
They
out
took 'em
because
all
they
out.
governed so badly they couldn't even trust people to put stuff in lockers.
So the best thing to do then probably is just go to your senator's office.
No,
and have
I
them-
can't tell my senator to check my
No,
bag.
you can ask them.
I can ask them, they can say no.
Yeah, they can.
Yeah, and then I still can't go in, so then what?
You go to your other senator's office.
And they say no, and I
Well,
can't go in.
We don't have control over that. The committee controls.
At some
what
point
goes
you
on.
do. You have, this committee cannot behave in an unconstitutional way.
But they can set rules to what goes in their committee room and what doesn't. Like,
Well, you can- yeah.
for example, food and drink can't
Yeah.
go into the committee room.
That might be reasonable because of public health and safety.
Right.
There's no reason for this not to go in. It's
Well,
been through the metal
That's
detector.
not my call though, right?
It is at a certain point. You have the duty to go in there and say to them, look,
Can we just
there's a
put
man
them
with
on just so it's not quite
a
as loud?
doctor's, a letter from his doctor
Come on
out.
down, we'll talk.
There's a man with a letter from his doctor out here. He has a big bag and we can't let him in.
And also, do you record the sound with your? Because that only Senate credentialed press are allowed.
See, here's another unconstitutional
Yeah,
rule.
see, that's the rule.
It's unconstitutional. It says no law will be made abridging.
Bill,
Yeah.
Bill, bring your voice
Yeah.
down.
If we
I
just, I just don't want it to be too loud for the people
Yeah.
inside, so they.
Yeah.
Right, well, have the right to
down.
get a little emotional. I don't want, in New York, they've done this to me. Come here, and the next thing you know, they push you out the door.
No, no one wants to. I just don't want it to be too loud in the room.
I'll try to hold my voice down, but you got to realize you are being unconstitutional here. You're not a serf. You're not a plantation slave to obey the master. You obey this.
Right, correct.
Okay, now what it says here is, no law shall be made abridging.
Right.
And you know what abridgment means?
Yes.
You got to turn it off.
Right.
And they're telling me what?
What's the rule?
That I have to turn it off.
Okay, no, the rule is you can get that recording, but it's done through their.
Yeah, but that's not what I see. That's not General
That's not-
Petraeus looking at me during the committee meeting. Yeah.
But that's the rule.
And
The
it's
rule-
wrong.
But no,
It
they
abridges me.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it
Because
does.
They provide that ability.
No, they give the state propaganda camera angle,
Well,
and they
that's your
show what they
opinion.
want.
That's
Yeah.
your opinion.
Right.
Okay. Your opinion is perfectly.
Okay, what if they
whatever
took
your
away my
opinion
pen to go in there? I can't.
is. We can't. It's
Yeah.
their rules. They set the rules, the parameters that we abide
And this is
by.
why a kid goes into a school in Connecticut and shoots 21 people because
Yeah,
they're so
we're getting
unfair
loud.
and illogical, and you back them up.
We're getting loud again.
Yeah, well, I'm emotional. I'm from Connecticut. I don't like to see school children killed
Then let's
because
back it
people
down,
are so
because we're not
inconsistent
talking
and
about
irrational and unfair.
We're not talking about that.
And you back them up.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah, we are.
We're talking about enforcing the rules of the
And
community.
and privacy.
That has to be enforced
Yeah.
throughout by everybody.
Governments have fallen from unfair
That-
rules.
that's
And if you guys want to stick
perfectly
with them
good.
because they're supposedly
Yes.
the boss, then you can.
Yes.
If you guys want to say, look, I looked in the Constitution here, it says no law can be made abridging the right of free speech and assembly. You're not letting this guy in because he has a PAC and because he has a recording.
Correct.
And I think that you might be liable. Do you want to
And
change
that's-
your rule? You
no.
have the right to say that to
Right,
them.
right, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
now.
because you're afraid of getting fired.
Well, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, but it should be
But
part of your
but
job
what you can
description.
do- But what you can do, is
Yeah.
you can go to your senator's office.
Right.
And you can share your concerns with them.
Yeah, and they're part of the rulemaking thing in the Democratic Republican Party that's been
know
running the
what else.
country for 80 years into the ground with
don't-
$16 trillion debt. That's the people you work
I
for.
respect you, and I respect your words.
Right.
Right? And we have a lot of respect for each other.
I try to, but when you won't question authority respectfully, I worry.
I understand.
Yeah.
That your opinion is I'm not.
You're not questioning them
that
enough, yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah.
And
Blind obedience doesn't
I
work.
understand that.
Yeah.
In your words, that may be the case.
Right.
But for right now,
There goes Senator Leahy.
The concern is
Yeah.
that there's a rule that we have to follow.
You don't.
Okay.
You have the right to question them, say, are you sure this is the right rule? I'm going to enforce it, but I just wanted to ask because this is different.
But right now, while
Yeah.
I'm on duty, I
Yeah.
can't do that. I have to enforce those policies and those regulations that I have to abide by.
Okay, so you can say after I'm off duty or
Absolutely.
tomorrow I'll come by
I
and
can do
ask
those
about it?
things. I can do
Will
those
you?
things. I will be more than happy.
Now you have my respect again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So best thing to do is if you can store your bag in your senator's office, that'd be great because that won't be an issue.
Well, it's friendly and campy, but I don't know if it works for, you get 20 people who come with guitars and backpacks and stuff like that.
Right.
There's no place to check them. They're all going to put them in the senator's office. I don't think that's going to work.
Actually, a lot of them do because they have to go through tours to do the Capitol, and there's rules in the Capitol. They can't carry that stuff over into the Capitol.
Yeah, and
building. So they store that stuff in their senator's offices.
That's kind of weak to me, but I'll go upstairs and ask about it.
Absolutely.
And I'll check with you as soon as I can to see how your follow-up goes. You're going to at least ask them,
I will ask them.
are you sure that this rule is consistent with this document?
With the Constitution. Absolutely.
Okay,
I will.
hallelujah.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
All right.
Wow. We can't go in, Mecca. We'll go up to the senator's office and ask I don't know if we should. That's inconsistent logic. We're supposed to be able to go where we get to with our stuff. Oh. This is why people go and shoot 21 people in a school, because the logic is so inconsistent. They're told one thing in the Constitution and they get a whole different thing in the school. It's not right. Let's go upstairs here. Or you want to walk it off? We can go upstairs here. I should listen to you. You're my service animal. Thanks. Okay, how are you, Who? Glad to hear it. You're looking well. Okay, Mecca, come on in. That's good. Oh, let's see, this is the third floor. I think it was the fourth. Where was it? Maybe it's up another floor, I think. Let's go up one more. Come on, Mecca. Oh. $216. Okay, Mecca. Okay, Mecca. Let's see if we can find our... Here it is. Okay.
I'm offside 33921.
Bob Corker, 425. Maybe it's back the other way, Mecca. Hi. Perfect. Find the office door, Mecca. $419. Foreign Relations Committee. Hi. 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 Hi, Mecca. Okay, good. Here's where we were earlier. Yeah, it's Committee on Environmental and Public Works, Mecca. Oh, no, cancel. Wow, it's amazing.
That's a late night.
Perfect sneeze, Mecca.
That was me the night before, the last night. I got the dead back in. Out.
Okay. Wow.
I'm rarely ever down here. I'm going to do it. We were yesterday and I saw people running. It's a great place to run.
Yeah.
An Afghan hound service animal. What are you looking for, Mecca? You gonna find it? Okay. First they said I couldn't come in because of the dog. Then they retreated and said I couldn't come in because of the bag. Then they said I couldn't come in because I have an external memory. Then I pointed out to them that's why 21 kids get shot in a school, because of logic like that doesn't obey the Constitution and makes up a new excuse every time you want to win. Then the officer kind of said, well, I'll ask them about it when I'm off duty tomorrow and see if they tell me why they think it's consistent with the Constitution.